our brains, and that's blowing my mind, our brains are not just like idea creators, but way more an antenna, a docking station for larger consciousness, where we receive larger consciousness. And that is fascinating. That is incredibly fascinating. Why? Because we have learned to live our life from that perspective of this is me and I need to make things work. I need to learn how to make money. I need to go and hustle. I need to do my business. I need to go and chase that girl or that partner. I need to know how to do everything. It kind of gives us the sense that it is me who needs to do everything. It is me who needs to control everything, because we believe to be isolated. We believe to be alone in this universe. We believe to be the main character, our ego, and it needs to control everything. And that is ego. That is the part inside of us that afterwards is so scared to lose a partner, so scared to never have enough money, so scared of the outcomes, what's gonna happen, because it feels responsible to all of this, what is happening out there, you know? And now here comes a new word for responsibility, the true responsibility that a human being has. Responsibility is the ability to respond, and that is what Lisa Miller with awakened awareness means, where our brain is connected to the divine, to a larger consciousness, because then you are responding to life. You're not going about life and saying, this is my plan, I want this to happen, this needs to happen right now, that's my ideal life, and I want it to play out exactly like that. First of all, we know that it will never really work out like that. And secondly, the plan of the larger consciousness, God, higher mind, this plan is always, always way greater, way better than any plan we can come up with our limited mind, our ego mind. It's very limited. So if we talk about responsibility, what we can learn as an awakened human being, as the human being in which we are collectively turning into right now, the multisensory human being, the human being that is connected to intuition, to that larger consciousness. There are so many words, by the way. There's intuition, God, prayer, gut feeling. I I talk about the exact same thing, to something that is beyond our limited mind, something that is bigger than us, the spiritual realm. Let us call it larger consciousness in that sense. So the multisensory human being is learning to go into the dialogue to this larger consciousness, to sit down, sit still, not be distracted, not by phone, not by people, anything, to center oneself in your own heart and to ask, what is my next step? What should I be doing? What do you want? Where do you want me to where do you want to guide me? What am I the instrument for? What do I feel drawn to? Where do I feel that pull, that curiosity? You know, that's when we get into service, into dialogue, into into the ability to respond to larger consciousness. And the beauty about that is we don't feel that much anymore, as if we need to make things happen in this life so much and we are all alone and this is a huge jungle and we need to fight through and we need to make the money and get the girl and, you know, get others to validate us, and all of that fighting, all of that effort, we can let go. We can give that to the larger consciousness, and we can feel that the larger consciousness, our inner being, our higher mind, is going to take care of everything way better than we can imagine. And that is a beautiful feeling. It's a feeling that liberates us. Okay, now the question that is always so important is, how do I respond to the higher mind? How do I feel it? How do I know where it's pushing me, where this larger consciousness is guiding me towards? And that's a good question. No, but that's an easy question to some degree, because we can learn that it is our feelings that guide us. It's a sensation. You know, many people, especially religious people, they have this image that if they're of service to God or to the higher consciousness, that it is somewhat of like a monk living in a monastery, you know, away from society, totally disciplined, and having this life where you need to devote yourself to God and you have no more pleasure. You can, you, no sex, no food that tastes good, nothing at all. You know, it feels very much like it gives you a sense of pride almost, that you devote yourself so much to God and you let go of all the earthly stuff. It is far from that. It is far from that. From my own experience, God wants us to experience joy and enjoyment and pleasure and love and passion in this world. He sent us here so we can play with all of it. We can taste the food and we can love deeply and we can have romance and, you know, we can explore the world. We can interact with it. I believe that God really wanted us to have that kind of experience. And I say that because when we realize what God is about, we realize the feeling that comes from God. And the feeling that comes from God is one of enthusiasm, it's one of passion and joy. It's one where you say, this is what I really want to do. I don't want to wake up and worry. I don't want to wake up and go into all of this story that feels so heavy, that feels so draining. I don't want that actually. I wish to wake up and I wish to be full of interest, full of curiosity, full of passion for this life and say, okay, what's next? Where can I dive into? What topic can I explore? What sports can I do? Where can I travel to? Who can I meet? What conversation do I want to have? And the more we are actually following this passion, this love, the more we are in dialogue with the larger consciousness. So basically, it's really to follow your excitement from moment to moment, because that tells you your excitement if you are moving in the direction of God or if you're actually moving away from Him. Him, it, her. But you see what I mean? Oh, this coffee tastes good. So that basically is a huge change in our mindset. It is going from a very limited perspective into like a broadening station, you know, or as Lisa Miller calls it, a docking station, an antenna for something bigger. You are just here receiving divine downloads from your higher being. You receive these downloads and you just go into the direction of those. And these downloads, they always feel blissful, they always feel passionate, they always feel inspiring, they always feel enthusiastic. That's how they feel. That's the downloads. When we were kids, we were all the time in these downloads. We were all the time feeling like looking around. What excites me now? What do I want to do? Oh, I want to play with this truck. Oh, I want to go to mommy. Oh, I want to see this friend. You know, we were highly creative, um, young beings who were in dialogue with life. We didn't have that rigid perspective of how life should be. We woke up, we were in the morning, in the present moment, and we chose from what was around us, and we let us be guided by that feeling. The point is, there we did it unconsciously. As kids, we do it unconsciously, and our path in life is to actually bring it back into consciousness. So we lose the way, we go to school, we are being told all the time what to do and where to go or who to be. We're being told when to piss and when to go to the toilet. You know, we have been distanced from ourselves. There have been authorities who told us what to do for decades, and at some point we don't know anymore who we really are. We didn't get in touch anymore. We lost the dialogue. It's like a language. We have forgotten how to speak that language. And then we look to the outside, you know, after school and stuff, when we're so used to getting information from the outside, we start, or we keep doing that. We look for Instagram for answers. We look for our next boss, our next job opportunity. We always look on the outside to give us some kind of guidance on what to do. We look at the standards of society. Oh, a nice watch, a nice car, a nice family, marriage. All right, that must be it. So I'm gonna do it. And we have lost the sense of our own unique path, because our own unique path also, it feels very scary. It feels like when we move on our path, we are often perceived as the black sheep, because we are unique, and if we follow our inner voice, we always walk on a path that does not exist yet. Because we are unique, there nobody has ever walked that path. Joseph Campbell said, if you can see the path in front of you laid out, it is most probably not your own. And that's intense. I mean, just think about that. Your career, your job, your purpose, you can't really find it out there yet, because it's something you are actually creating. You're creating your purpose. You're creating your path. You're creating your passion. And this kind of brings you into a blind date with life, because when you're following this inner voice, the dialogue, you are never really fully sure of the whole plan. You just see the next step and you just follow that. And the more you walk, the more it will, make sense in the bigger picture at some point. But in the beginning, you are tapping into the unknown. You realize that you don't really know much. And also, Lao Tse from the Taoism, he said that a real master never really knows, or he's never really fully sure of himself. That's interesting, isn't it? Everybody tries to think like, I know exactly what I do. This is my path. This is my career. He says somebody who is in the Tao, who is in dialogue with life, it's more like a leaf in the wind. You are feeling, you're very sensitive to where the path is going, so you're flowing with life, you're dancing with life. And the moment you can exactly say what life is about for you and where you're gonna go and how it's gonna work out, that's when you get really rigid in that dance. That's when you don't feel the moves anymore. And what's the problem with that? That's when you're no more alive. Because meaning or being alive is a constant movement. It's something that moves. We see that in nature everywhere. And if we want to feel alive, we need to step into the dialogue with our inner voice. We need to start trusting it. That's how we create our unique path. That's how we find our purpose. That's how we find our passion in life. When we follow our inner voice, that whisper, that feeling of curiosity and excitement. And if we just follow it step by step, that's how we get closer to who we are. The more we do what we love, the more the closer we get to what we love, the more it is revealed to us who we truly are. That's beautiful. So, encourage all of us, and especially myself, to go into that dialogue, to keep living from that, to let go of all of the projections, all of the beliefs, all of the plans, all of the visions that I sometimes feel like I need to have, and this fake security, and actually feeling like meeting life where it is right now, being in a constant dialogue with it right now. And I can do that through silence, through prayer, through feeling into my heart, through being aware of my breath, being aware of what really excites me, where I really want to go. It can be through movies, books, travels, whatever it is, but just to be aware. And that is practicing life. That is a practice that is ongoing, miraculous, alive. And I wish for everyone to be alive and to feel good and joyful. And I believe the dialogue is the way.